Welcome to this year's last edition of MBC News. You know, Annie, we've been doing this for what, 3 years now?
3 years.
Yeah. And we've had a chance to host a lot of broadcasts, but we thought it'd be cool if we ended this year's hosting it together. But MBC has always been devoted to bringing you guys the news.
And speaking of news, Mason's been making that a lot lately.
And not always for the good.
Brandy Emerson was able to catch up with Mrs. McCarty-Stewart on how she keeps her students focused on the positives and not always caught up in all the drama.
It's no secret that some of the news headlines in the past reflect negatively on us as a high school. But when a controversial situation occurs in a community, there's one voice that comes across loud and clear at Mason, and that's Principal Mindy McCarty-Stewart.
Initially, any negative media coverage or criticism, things like that, definitely have an impact on all the staff and students. The reason why is because the staff here, the students here take such pride in what they do, so it's hard not to take it personally. Yeah. But I think the lasting impact after that initial reaction is that it only makes us stronger.
A school like Mason, with 3,600 students and 310 staff members, can easily get distracted by news and events in the media. But her goal is to have everyone's attention focused on the things that matter.
Fortunately, because we are a top-performing district, it is because the students and the parents and the staff automatically are constantly raising it. And what I'm doing is helping to support that, provide the resources. We analyze data, so I think that we have a healthy competitive edge to us. So by doing that and just really helping to keep that focus is on student achievement and the goals that the students have, you know, what careers, what colleges, things that they want to achieve.
When you're number one, naturally, competitors make it a priority to tear you down. This could be the reason it seems Comet Country is a prime target for the media.
I can only speculate that, you know, our location, our size alone, and I'm a firm believer that when an organization has such success, that oftentimes with that it leaves itself open to criticism. And so when you're doing so well in so many aspects, people like to maybe pick at what they see as flaws.
Rumors and gossip are nothing new to Mason or its community, but McCarty-Stewart makes it a priority to keep staff and students focused on the job at hand.
It's so easy to focus in on the many wonderful things that happen on a daily basis. And so when people are trying to highlight something negative and take away the focus again, when, you know, like you said, being at the top and trying to tear you down, that is often that time where it's just so easy to, you could quickly fall into that. And I have to model it myself, is to not let myself get down about it. And it doesn't take me long, or it's not very difficult. All I have to do is just turn in one direction or another, read another email, look at all the events that go on a daily basis here at Mason High School. And it's quick and easy to find all the wonderful positive things that are occurring, and that's the focus. I love every day that I come here, and I truly feel blessed to be a part of this. And I've never once haven't looked forward to each and every day that I get to come to Mason High School.
So what is it that keeps Mason High School moving forward? Some may say it's our outstanding family, along with Principal Mindy McCarty-Stewart. But whatever it is, Mason as a community plans on continuing to raise the bar each and every day. I'm Brandy Emerson, MBC News.
Well,
our viewers have spoken and we have heard you. So today we bring the MBC tradition of Kids in the Hall. For some of you, this will be your first taste of Kids in the Hall, so what better way than to feature some of the fresh faces of the high school? Today we ask the freshman class, what have been some of the most memorable events of your freshman year?
I tried opening the wrong locker, and then the real person came, and they're like, this isn't your locker.
I just moved here from Texas, so definitely the people have just been great.
Probably the food. The food was the best part.
My foot on the stairs.
Right here, because I haven't really done that much.
The football games are fun.
I did fall down during lunch one time.
When I got stuck in the janitor's closet.
Playing football.
I guess just making like all of my new friends, right? Really? Like Ben Tilly, great friend of mine, all these different people from all these different grades. It was so great to just meet everybody.
Walking in late for classes, people staring at me like that.
Whether it was an embarrassing freshman faux pas or a memorable moment, some of the events that happened your freshman year can follow you through high school. I'm Alex Yelig, NBC News.
And this one belongs to the Reds.
Annie, no. Just stop. You are not as good as Marty Brenneman. But
Speaking
of Marty Brenneman, NBC sports reporter Corinne Hazen caught up with the Reds Broadcast Hall of Famer.
Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan, and Pete Rose. Common names you think of when you hear Cincinnati Reds. But when you hear the voice of the Reds, you think Marty Brenneman. He's been a radio announcer for 39 years, and with his long-standing career with the Cincinnati Reds radio network, baseball fanatics turn to him to report the American pastime.
Well, they don't have any choices than anybody else. If they're not going to listen to me, then they're not going to listen to Reds baseball. They can watch it on television, but I tell the TV guys all the time, they can turn the sound down. They can say the most profane word there is, and nobody's going to hear it because they're not listening to them. I'm kidding when I say that. It's nice. I mean, this franchise is a regional franchise as opposed to the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Cubs or all the rest of the teams from so-called big market cities. They can draw, 2 or 2.5 or 3 million people based on the population of the greater LA area or the greater New York area. In our case, in order for us to be successful, we have to draw fans from the states that you mentioned. We have to draw people from West Virginia and Kentucky and Indiana and Ohio and even as far away as Tennessee and Virginia. And so to know that every night when we go on the air, we broadcast to a network of 80 to 90 plus radio stations all over the place is very important. And it's a responsibility that I don't think we as broadcasters ever lose sight of. It's, there have been 2 generations of people, I think, that have listened to me over the years broadcast Reds baseball. And it's really kind of neat because I'm in a business that is very transient. There's always people, in fact, more often than not, and I'm not included in this group, who think the grass is always greener. So they stay in a location for however many years, and all of a sudden somebody comes and offers them what they think is a better deal, and then they move on. I've been fortunate in that I've resisted all the opportunities that I've had to leave here. And as a result, I'm in my 39th year and in the second year of a contract that will put me through 40 next year. And I'll sign another deal after that, and then after that, I don't know what I'll do. But I'll end up, if my health maintains the level that it's at right now, and I have no health issues, I'll be the longest running radio broadcaster they've ever had here. And that means a lot to me. I talk to people who are my age. I'll be 70 in July, and I talk to young kids, that listen. I have people that come up and say, you're the only announcer that I've ever heard in all the years I've been around. And this person's 37 years old. So it's kind of cool. It's been a labor of love for me, and I'm as proud of the fact that I've been in one place all these years, because you can count on one hand the number of guys that have been with only one team as a broadcaster. There are only a handful of them, and I'm one of those, and I'm proud of that. If I don't have anything else when the day comes, on my tombstone, I hope somebody puts his credibility was impeccable. I think it's important for me that when I say something, people believe it for its accuracy. I try to be as accurate as I can possibly be, and there have been times over the years where I've been critical of a player and then found out after the game that there was a reason for what might have been a subpar performance. We had a guy named George Foster who was a sensational player, was a most valuable player in the league back in 1977. And he had a bad night in New York one night. He dropped a fly ball and he misjudged a fly ball, and I was very critical of him. And I found out after the game that he was playing with a 102-degree temperature. And I went back on the air the next night and I apologized. One of my philosophies is the worst mistake you can make is to not correct one. And if I make a mistake and it's a significant mistake, and I'll apologize for it and correct it the next day or that night if I know about it more. But I want people to be able to listen and listen because they know I'm going to be accurate in depicting a play throughout the course of the night. That's the most important thing to me.
Being a member of the National Baseball Hall of Fame is a tremendous honor, and for young journalists, they have a long way to go, from internships to covering and reporting live stories. Even a seasoned professional such as Marty Brenneman had to climb the steps of the ladder to be reporting in the Reds booth.
Corinne, you bring up a very good point, because I talk to young guys. You know, they come up to me, college age, and they said, I'm going to graduate next year, and I'm going to take your job. And my response to them is, if you truly believe that, you better go find something else to do. For one thing, I ain't going anywhere. And secondly, you're not going to get to the big leagues as a broadcaster after 1 year out of college. You know, it's something that you have to work at. And I broke into the business in 1965 when I graduated from college, and I got to Cincinnati in 1974. So I was essentially working in the business 8 or 9 years before I got the opportunity to come to Cincinnati to broadcast Reds baseball. I had done 3 years of minor league baseball, AAA baseball in Norfolk, Virginia. And there are guys that get there quicker than that. My son got there quicker than that. But my son grew up in the business, so he understands that what he did is an aberration. That doesn't happen very often. He was a year removed from Ohio University when he was doing Reds television in 1989 with Johnny Bench. That doesn't happen. Now, was he talented enough to handle it? Very much so. He's a very talented guy. But you got to be willing to pay your dues. You can't have an unrealistic opinion or feeling that I'm going to be broadcasting Major League Baseball within 2 years, because rarely does it ever happen. And I think the guys who are successful are the fellows who get out of school and they find a job and they perfect their craft, and they're patient. They're not in a hurry to get there, because if you are, then you're going to become disillusioned after a while, and you're going to probably walk away from the business.
One of the most memorable moments in Marty Brenneman's life was when he received the call that he would be inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame.
The date in which the Ford Frick winner, which is what the broadcast guy is, I think it was like February the 1st or the 5th or something in 2000. And Rob Butcher, who was the Reds media relations director then and still is today, called me on the phone 2 days before the phone call was going to be placed to whoever it was. And he said, I just want to call and make sure you're going to be home when the call, if it's you. Well, I think, in retrospect, I think he knew it was me. And he wanted to make sure that when the call came, I was going to be home to take the call. And at 5 minutes after 11 on that day, my phone rang, and I picked it up, and I said, hello, and the voice of the other end said, Marty, and I said, yes. He said, this is Dale Petrino.